Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of today's guests, including Ray, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. More information, the Giants Teddy Bear Toss Saturday, Family Skate Sunday. Head to VancouverGiants.com to get single game tickets, flex packs, and more. Farhan Lalji was just on the show moments ago. After that, he found time to tweet this out. We talked about this earlier, speculating that JT Miller would be playing tonight, and lo and behold, there you go. Farhan tweeting out, again, moments ago, JT Miller is playing tonight. Began with a statement, I'm taking it, he talked to the media, began with a statement saying he wouldn't discuss the reasons for his absence. Said he's been out of the loop with fan reaction, but appreciates the support. JT Miller playing for the Canucks against Florida tonight. Kevin Lankinen starts in goal. Thatcher Demko, who played the other night against St. Louis, backing him up. And with all that information, we're joined now from Minnesota, from the NHL on ESPN, Canucks analyst on Sportsnet, Ray Ferraro. Ray, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a hell of a lot colder here than it is there, I'll tell you that.
JT Miller. Your reaction to him coming back to the Canucks and what he means to this hockey club, even though it may be obvious.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I mean, why wouldn't anybody be happy to see that he's back in the lineup when somebody's struggling and dealing with whatever it was? It's quite frankly none of our business, and we've all had, certainly as we've gotten older, we've had times when things don't go so well, and it takes you a few days to, at least myself, takes me a few days to dig myself out of a hole. And for him, it's a very public thing, and I mean you notice when he's not there, right? So it's been 10 games now, and they miss him. They miss him a great deal. They miss him all over the ice. They miss him, well, literally in every facet of the game. I would say next to Quinn, there's probably not a more valuable skater on the team that touches every part of the game: face-offs, penalty kill, power play, 5-on-5, matchup game, physicality, emotion. He touches them all, and when he's not in the lineup, it's just not possible to be the same team.
And Ray, he's a center iceman, and just how strong is Florida up the middle? And I don't know if that this sped up the process, but led by Barkov and Bennett. Well,
if you're looking for, like we hear all the time, the 200-foot player, and it's like this, it's like the Ogopogo or the Loch Ness Monster. Everybody's looking for him, and you can't quite find him. And Barkov's the gold standard. It was Patrice Bergeron. I do a lot of games in the East, so I see Barkov a lot. And to me, he's the West Coast or the East Coast version of Anze Kopitar. They don't have to get 100 points to be a 100-point player, if that makes any sense. Their impact is everywhere. Bennett plays such a different game. He's it's a game tailor-made for what Florida wants to play. And, he's physical. He skates well. He forechecks. I wouldn't say Florida's the fanciest team, but, man, they've adapted this style of play over the last few years, from the year that they won the President's Trophy. Then they go the next year to the Stanley Cup final. Then they go to the next year and they win the Stanley Cup. Like, it's not like a one-off team. This is a well-built, well-put-together team. They're big and they're physical. And, Barkov, to me, like I said, he's the gold standard for the 200-foot play. Bennett fits their system and their style really well.
Hey, Ray, Brock Boeser is going to play his 500th game tonight for the Canucks. He's been a great draft pick, Ray. He's a contract guy. He's UFA. His contract's up. There hasn't been major talks between the two sides yet. What would you do? Like, he's going to want 8 years. Are you in the sign him long-term or possibly trade him? What side would you be on?
How old is he, by the way?
27.
So the deal would kick in at 28.
That's right.
So I guess what I would be most concerned with, and this is not specific to Brock, but to any player that plays the game in the style that he does. He's not fast. He's not, like his game is head and shot and positioning. And so you can say, oh, I'll worry about the end of the contract later, but what if you're worrying about 4 years of the contract?
Yeah.
And I know the cap is going up, but it's, that's such a math equation that doesn't have the variables in it. And so you'd have to gamble that, okay, is the contract going up? So let's assume the deal is 8 times 8. I mean, I don't have any idea, but I'm assuming that's kind of the ballpark.
Yep.
So you're looking at $8 million there. Pettersson's 11.5. What's Miller at?
8.
8. So now you're at 28 for 3 forwards.
That's it.
Quinn's deal's going to come up shortly. What do you think he's going to make?
Demko is up in a year.
Right. So you've got to put a team together.
Yeah.
So my question would be, what if because I read a lot, online, and the fans and, and some of the media get into this, that, you got a 40-goal guy. He scored 40 goals once. I scored 40 goals twice. I was not a 40-goal scorer. I was a 27-goal by average goal scorer. You have to figure out what is the likelihood of average look like over the course of a contract. It's not what the high water mark is. Zach Hyman scored 54 goals last year. Are you going to pay Zach Hyman what a 54 goal scorer gets?
No.
Well, you're crazy if you do, because everybody has a career year. And that's why it's called a career year. Now, I don't know if 40 was Brock's high water mark, but I'd be really nervous that I'm paying 40 goal price for a 28 goal scorer, because I still have to build my team.
Yeah.
There is nothing I don't like about Brock Boeser as what I've seen and read about him as a person, as a teammate, of how he wants to improve. His foot speed and the 8 years concern me, and I think it's a legit complaint. Now, but if you're Brock, if somebody could say, well, why wouldn't you take a shorter term? Because you're thinking that somebody's got 8 years out there for you.
Yeah.
It's all a balancing act of money, term, comfort. It's a tough thing. I would be, I guess, in a long way to answer the question, I guess somewhat is, I'd be really, really concerned about the 8 years. That would, more than anything, not the dollars, the years are what concerns me.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, if I told you in the summer the Washington Capitals would be the top team in the NHL, you'd probably tell me to, hit the road.
I think you're nuts, which I do anyway.
I know that. But not only, I know you think I'm nuts, Ray, that's obvious. But they keep winning even without Ovechkin. Yeah. What is going on in Washington, right?
You know what, Rick? Last year, as I said, we get to do a lot of games in the East. So last year we got introduced to Spencer Carberry. And, you spend 5 or 10 minutes before a game with him. And I don't know what we did, 6 or 7 Capitals games. And each time I came away and I'm like, man, that guy, there's something about this guy that's different.
Right.
And it's not just that he's a really good talker, because lots of guys can talk, right? He's honest, he's direct, he's got a clear indication of what they were last year and how they had to play to even be effective. I thought they were the most curious of playoff teams last year. Their goal differential was rotten. They never scored. And they just clawed and scratched, and then they got swept in the first round. I thought they had a really good summer. I thought they really addressed some of the things they had to address. But I could have never seen them coming into this year and scoring the amount of goals they score, with Ovi or without Ovi. Well, without even more so. But Rick, they score. They defend hard. But the offense is there that just was not there a year ago. Chychrun has been a real nice add for them. John Carlson, underrated in the minutes that he plays, 25, 26 a game. McMichael's had a fabulous 30 games to the year. I guess it's not a start anymore, but it's, his start has been great. Protas is a 6'6" winger that's kind of finding his stride. Dubois doesn't score, but they match him up against people, and they've been really happy with him. And like Tom Wilson has had a really good year. Like, go through the lineup, but this is a surprise team that has found an identity, and that's really not as easy to do as you think. And they have been one of the league's biggest surprises, I would say.
Okay, and Ray, we talked about this at the top, but Oilers, Wild tonight in Minnesota, two of the best teams in the National Hockey League. Can you put into words how much you're looking forward to this in a really underrated, energetic building in the XL Energy Center?
Yeah, well, I'll start where you finish. Great building, beautiful building, and one of the cool things is when you walk in, they have high school hockey is just a phenom. It's a phenomenal thing. It's amazing. And they've got all the high school jerseys that hang up in the entryway. It's such a cool way to come into the building. And then you walk in, and it's a beautiful building, but it feels hockey, The Wild they're a good team, man. They've had, I think, 5 regulation losses this year. I'll tighten that up before the game tonight, but I'll know for sure. But I think 5 regulation losses. Kaprizov's leading the league in scoring. Gustafsson leading the league in goals against and in save percentage. And sometimes a move that you don't make turns out to be the best one. Remember a couple of years ago, the Canucks were looking at, what were they going to do and keep Garland or not keep Garland? They kept him. I think he's been their best player next to Quinn Hughes this year. Yeah. He's had but they didn't make the deal, and it's paid off for them. Whether it was intentional or whatever, it's paid off. Minnesota did the same thing with Gustafsson this summer. They want to get their young guy, Jesper Wallstedt, he's ready. And they tried and looked at a couple of ways to trade Gustafsson. It didn't work. And now he's leading the league in goals against and save percentage. So sometimes you put together a good team. Sometimes you get lucky, and the two of them come together, and they're a really good team. But Kaprizov is money worthy to watch. Like, that guy is awesome. He's fun to watch. And the Oilers they've kind of refound their stride. I mean, slow start, sluggish start, whatever, but they won 6 of their last 7, and they win 2-1 against Tampa. They win 6-3 against Columbus. They can kind of win any way they need to win. And I still think that team will, like a lot of teams, they won't look the same come March as they do now.
Yeah. Didn't you grow up in Trail, and you're telling us it's cold in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Donnie, I've lived in Vancouver for 23 years.
I knew you were going to say that.
I come down to where you grew up, and I'm soft. I turn soft.
Like us. Yeah.
But hey, I'm telling you, I was like, I walked out the door the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's minus 16. I got the wrong jacket in my hand. This is to turn around, man.
Can't you just call ESPN up and they'll send you a parka?
A toque.
That's what I grabbed, my jacket that I did the outdoor game in last year. And the toque doesn't get much use in Vancouver, but it's
wonderful,
it's a welcome addition on this trip.
Yeah. Wonderful thing, the toque.
Guys at ESPN wouldn't know what a toque is, right?
They're like, what do you mean? They call it a hat.
Yeah. Come on. Toque's a great word. Adopt that. Come on.
It is.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, thanks so much for this. All the best. Have a good call tonight.
Yeah, talk to you next week, and I'll be on the game Saturday. When the Bruins are in. So look forward to that too. So be well, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet. Safe travel.